Okay, good morning, everybody. Sorry about that. Good morning. Happy Saturday to you. Spitfire Saturday. We're back at it. Our first Spitfire Saturday of the new year. Today we're going to be flying from Maupertus in Cherbourg in Normandy. We're going to take off from here. Go have a quick look at the lighthouse here on the peninsula. We'll talk about that. Then we're going to come down, come across the beaches, the landings of World War II here, and then we're going to attempt to fly underneath the Pont de Normandie. It's a bridge. We'll talk about that, and then we're going to land here in Rouen. So let's get in here. And we're going to start up the Spitfire, taxi out, take off, all that good stuff. We're going to change the weather so we have a nice, beautiful flight here. And then we're going to hop over in the T-45C and have some fun over in Death Valley, and then head over into downtown Las Vegas for a couple runs down the strip. And then we'll be all done. Yeah, we want to get rid of this weather. Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want that rain. There we go. Let's minimize this. Alright, let's get this thing started up. That there. Propeller there, battery on. And let's get that. That. Wobble the pump a little bit. And let's get this thing started. Alright, there we are. Hello, Daniel, how are you? Welcome. Oh, let me, Alright. Let the engine run for just a moment while I do some channel admin sort of stuff. And we'll get going here. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's call in for our taxi.
Cherbourg traffic Froggy 237 is taxiing to runway 28.
Alright. So runway 28 isn't very far from here. I'm going to try to swing the tail around here. There we go. Good to hear, Daniel. I know you are. No doubt about it. At least you get back to your usual schedule. Oh, good morning, Mick. How are you? I know you weren't going to miss
Cherbourg
this.
traffic Froggy 237 taking off runway 28 west departure.
All right. This is one stream. I found Daniel. I win. This is one stream I know Mick was not gonna miss. He's been looking forward to this one for some time, I think. All right. There we are. All right, let's go ahead and shut the window. All right, we are all set. Let's go. All right, and away we go. Keep the plane up in the air. All right.
Brest Center Froggy 237 is type Supermarine Spitfire 2 miles west of Cherbourg, 800 feet.
And away we go.
Request flight following.
Froggy 237 Brest Center. Squawk 1637.
Squawk 1637 Froggy 237.
Froggy 237 radar contact 2 miles northwest of Cherbourg, 900 feet. Altimeter 29.902.
Roger Froggy 237.
All right. I'm still waiting on my... Yeah, it'd be nice if we get it, but... yeah. That might be a bit of a pipe dream at this point, unfortunately. I mean, it'd be nice, but I don't know that... Alright, so our first stop along the way here, so to speak, is this lighthouse. Now, the Fara de Gotville, I think I'm pronouncing that right, and if I'm not, for you French speakers, I apologize if I'm butchering the name here, but this is the third tallest lighthouse in the world at 247 feet. It's the third tallest traditional lighthouse, not the third tallest, but the third tallest traditional lighthouse in the world. And it was first lit 1835. Now, I don't know if it played any role in the landings at Normandy, but it may not even have been lit during World War II. So I don't really know if it played any part in how the Allied forces navigated to Normandy. But there it is, right there. So I figured that'd be kind of a neat thing to start off with on our flying tour today. There it is, right there. I think you could take a tour. You could like go up into the lighthouse itself. All right, so now I have to get my bearings here, kinda. I have to look at the map now. All right, so we just came. So our first marker should be near Utah Beach. Okay. That's where the first two beaches for the American forces landed here at Utah. Now, further inland a bit is where the 82nd and 101st Airborne landed. They parachuted into Normandy to attempt to capture some of the towns a little bit inland from the beaches. In some areas they were a bit successful, but it took them more than a few days to completely take over the German defenses. Yeah, if we could stay right about here, this is about perfect. So yeah, we'll make a couple passes around Utah Beach. Now, Utah and Omaha Beach is where the American forces landed. We're supposed to be a bit closer together, but because of the winds and everything, the landing craft were thrown off course, so the units were not able to link up and everything until almost later into June. If you want to know more about that, then certainly. Oh, well, thank you, Mella. Yeah, 112. Matter of fact, I just got an email this morning, although it happened a couple days ago. I got an email from YouTube congratulating me on the 100 subs. So I do appreciate everybody who's subscribed to the channel. Yeah, greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Mella. Mella and Mick, one of the, I think even Daniel, amongst the first subscribers to the channel. So once I got going doing this. So all right, so we're coming up on Utah Beach. So we're gonna, oops, boy, am I losing altitude here. Are you asking me which one I prefer? I like them both. This is not either one. This is the Supermarine Spitfire there, Victor. We are not flying in we're not flying in, but I both have their good qualities. So that's the best answer I can give you. They both have their good qualities. So yeah. Alright, so this area is, so based on the map. Oh, thank you, Noah. This is where Utah Beach is. Okay, and yeah, I don't prefer one over the other. I like them both equally. Okay, so yeah. So here, this is where Utah Beach was, along here. Now we should see, I think, as we get, there's an area where you can see the cemetery for the Allied soldiers here in Normandy. I don't know exactly where it is. I tried to find all the pertinent points, but so yeah, all through here is where the Utah Beach was. Now it doesn't look like what you would expect it to look like. You know, and a lot of that's probably due to you know, over the years the coast has certainly changed quite a bit. So yeah. Well, again, they both have their unique qualities. They're both iconic. I mean, I don't, you know, as an American, yes, it would be easy for me to say, well, yeah, the P-51 is the obvious choice, but they're both very well made aircraft for their time. They both serve their purposes very well. They both evolved, you know, from their very first flights into something phenomenal. So yeah, I don't I try not to have, you know, like, I don't really, I mean, there's some things that are my favorites, but I don't try to you know, I try to enjoy, even though we don't really have the traditional P-51, we only have the Reno Air Race P-51s. So yeah, I try not to, I don't really prefer one over the other, so I just enjoy them for what they are. Alright, so we shoot across this area here. Now, just inland of here is where the 101st Airborne landed. If you want to know more about the history of that, I highly recommend the series, The Band of Brothers. It talks about the initial, what their part was in D-Day, and then some of their other actions in World War II, and then up to the end of their time in World War II. So we are headed towards Omaha Beach. Right here, just the marker in front of us here is where Omaha Beach is. So, all right, stay angry. All right, hey, calm down first off. All right, Amela, come in up, bro. Okay, hold on a second. I'm flying. Can we appreciate? Can we appreciate what I'm trying to do right here, right now? Stay angry. You're starting to spam, dude. You need to calm it down, okay? I get what you want me to do, not right now, okay? Angry. Listen to me. Listen to this. All right? I'm trying to do a historic flight over the beaches of Normandy. All right? You know what? Since you don't want to listen, this is just too easy for me. Now you can have a timeout. I'm trying to do a historic flight here in Normandy. I need you. Can you at least appreciate what I'm trying to do here? So you're gonna have a bit of a timeout. Okay? If you want me to come to India, that we're not taking viewer requested flights right now. When I do a flight in the Spitfire, it's either I've chosen a certain area to fly or whatever. If I can fit that in at some point down the road, but I need you to respect what I'm trying to do here today. Okay? Oh my goodness. I don't. I mean, I get that you're excited about me flying in the Spitfire. You want me to see. You want to see me do this in India somewhere, but I mean, at least have a bit of courtesy and all that we're talking about. You know, the landings at Normandy. Okay. I mean, that's just disrespectful to me. You wouldn't appreciate if somebody came in and disrespected you like that. Oh my goodness. Alright, so Omaha Beach. Let's circle back around here since we got... And then this. Wow, 2 in a row? Really? Oh. Yeah. Unbelievable. I mean, I appreciate everybody's enthusiasm, don't get me wrong, but if I say no, not right now, the answer is no. And if you keep pushing it, then that's the result. You're going to get timed out. God. We had a plane that was all... Man, we were just like cruising right along at the right altitude, too. And I go to look at where we're coming up to. This is what I got to contend with. You know, when we do Spitfire flights, that is not a viewer requested flight. I will not. No, that's a hard pass. When I do the Spitfire, it's either just to fly and have a nice flight in the Spitfire, to just, you know, we go from point A to point B and then land. But no, Fridays are reserved for viewer requested flights, and that is a point-to-point, preferably, you know, I feel like I've explained this numerous times, and that people can go back and understand what the rules are for the viewer requested flights. Man, we had a nice altitude. Anyway, all right. Alright, so right here should be, we'll go back around here in a minute. I'll try to lose a bit more altitude and come back around. I appreciate people's enthusiasm, but you also need to be, if the answer is no, the answer is no. Okay? I have everything planned out through the rest of this month. So... Let me have a bit of my coffee here real quick before we continue. All right. So Omaha Beach is the second landing site for the American forces. So there was two corps, basically, as they call them, 5th and 7th Corps. 7th Corps landed at Utah, 5th Corps landed at Omaha, all under the direction of General Bradley. He was the senior commander. While Patton was pretending to land elsewhere. He was not part of the initial D-Day. My understanding is they felt that he was such a point of interest to the Germans that if they had included him in the D-Day, if I remember the story correctly, that he would have compromised the mission, his participation. So they created a fake army around him. All right, Daniel. To throw off the German high command. Hopefully things have now settled down. So yeah. But this is also the all the airborne forces were more co-located with the landings at Utah Beach. So Omaha was kind of left on its own. I don't know that was necessarily the plan. I think it's just that the way, the planes had to divert, that had the that brought in the airborne troopers, that they had to kind of go off course, and so when they jumped, they thought they were over the right spot, but yeah, they may have been well far from their initial objectives, and then had to kind of make do. So yeah, you don't get the sense of the scale of the cliffs or anything that the Allied soldiers had to kind of scale to get up into the area to take on the Germans, who were well fortified here above the beaches. So that's the one thing that is kind of difficult to get a sense of here. I don't think that it's very well represented. And again, it may be a lot of, like, the coastline has changed a lot since that time. So yeah, this is roughly where Omaha Beach was. All right, and then we're going to follow this along, and then we're going to find Gold, Juno, and Sword beaches, which is where the British and Canadian forces, I think, landed. I know it was mainly the British, but I believe there was some Canadian forces landed there as well. All right, so yeah, here you get a bit of a sense of the walls, or not like natural wall. Well, they're natural walls, but not. Yeah, so there is a bit of the cliffs here that they would have had to scale to get off the beach. So anyway, so yeah, there you go, right there. And of course, I think when they landed, the tide was certainly out. There'd be more of a beach front. I think they tried to time it just right so they could get up on the beach, but the Germans were certainly prepared for a possible landing along the coast. So let's see, where are we? Okay, so we are now just by Gold Beach, the first of the three where the British forces landed. So we'll go Gold Juno and then Sword. And then right in between Juno and Sword, which would be kind of hard to see here, but we'll try to estimate it, is where the German Panzer Division was located in Caen? I'm not very good at French, so I apologize. So yeah, when they landed, they were kind of getting... Now, they had expected that, you know, a lot of the German defenses would have been, you know, dealt with by bombardments and everything, but it turns out that a lot of that effort was not on target, so the Germans were basically... Hello, Joseph. Basically, we're flying along the coast of Normandy, talking about the D-Day landings, and then we're going to try to fly under a bridge there, the Pont de Normandie. All the information is in the in the description. Okay. I made sure to put very clear what we're doing. Okay. So, all right. So all along here basically is where the British forces would have landed, or not would have, that they did land along here.
Going to 120 decimal tree 5 Fraji 237. Deauville approach Fraji 237 3,500 feet.
Fraji 237 Deauville approach altimeter 29er decimal 9er to continue as planned.
All right. I did not realize that the... Oops. There we go. We don't need that extra fuel can there on our Spitfire. We've got plenty of gas since we never run out of fuel. Alright, so yeah, all along here is where... Now, of course, things got scattered out because they missed their marks quite a bit. Hello, stay angry. Dude. Thank you. Can you just relax and enjoy the stream, please, and thank you? Okay? I'm happy to have you here. Let's see, where... I think we've gone past all the beaches. But basically, you know what we're going to do? We're going to circle back around here a bit. Kind of come back inland and then come back around, and then we'll... The bridge is right there, so we're going to try to fly under that. as best as we can. So, close this. Now, all right. Yeah, I don't need you to take over my chat. Okay, please, just relax and enjoy the flight. Okay. All right. Now, I thought that the beaches were much closer, but I think I understand why, now that I see kind of where everything was, why they chose not to go directly across the channel to Calais, because there wouldn't have been, you know, they would have, thanks Joseph, they wouldn't have, there wouldn't have been as much secrecy that they, you know, that many ships massing somewhere would have been a dead giveaway about what was getting ready to happen. So, you know, this was, I think, a good choice that they were able to move across. It was foggy, you know, like they were kind of masked. You know, if you look at the, like the opening sequences of Saving Private Ryan, or I think even the movie The Longest Day, it kind of shows that the British or the German forces were shocked that they, you know, when they called and said, hey, the landing craft are here, that, you know, they weren't believed initially. You know, like the German high command was like, nah, that's not possible. You must be mistaken. So, thank you, Mick. Sir Mick. A gentleman and a scholar, despite what people may think. Thank you, Dale. Appreciate that. Yeah, it was something Mick and I had been talking about, and so I had to look up exactly where, and then try to figure out where could I take off and everything, you know, and then once I knew kind of the area, then Rouen was, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, seemed to be the natural choice for our landing area, our landing airport. So, yeah, I try to do, you know, like, I know we have scenic flights on Sundays, which is, you know, tomorrow will be part of the Amazon rainforest and all that. But this was something that seemed it would, you know, it's, once I can plan it out and know where I'm going, then it's kind of easy to do. You know, when I was planning this flight, I had to kind of figure out what point, you know, where would the points be for me to make along the way in order to, you know, show you know, kind of this area and the history of it. Now, there is a museum in Normandy that is like a D-Day museum itself. I don't know where exactly it is, and I don't know if it's open currently. I'd highly recommend, you know, Google it, check it out. I'm sure there's like virtual tours of the museum, at least, for people to enjoy if they can't get there. I think it has some of the we reach it when we reach it, Angry. Okay? This isn't like I'm not in a race here or anything. Okay? Welcome back, Daniel. We're just can you just enjoy the flight? Just Just take a deep breath and just enjoy the flight. Okay? That's I don't know if I can make it any plainer. Okay? Please, I want you to be able to hang out, but just relax and enjoy the flight. We're not in a... We have to be at a certain location at a certain time, okay? This is just a nice... Should be a nice, relaxing, educational flight. Okay? Thank you. Alright. So, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought now. Yeah, oh, I know. Yes, it is in Normandy, but I don't remember where exactly. Like, I think we flew nearby it, based on what I remember when I was kind of looking at the area, Mick. But I don't remember where exactly. It's not like a huge... You know, if it was like a huge building or something, then it would probably be easier to pick it out. But I don't know. But I know it has... I think it has some American or Allied Forces aircraft, and it has like a bunch of like uniforms and stuff like that in it. So yeah. But yeah, I think if they're not open, I think they have like a virtual tour that you can kind of click and it'll show you different things that you can click on and learn about the history and stuff like that. So, which I guess is a alternative if you're not able to travel there. All right, so the Pont de Normandie is a bridge that was built in 1995. It is a cable suspension bridge that crosses the Seine River. So we are going to attempt. I should have done a test flight yesterday, so I don't know really. There should be enough distance between the water and the lower part of the bridge. So we're going to try being the key word, to fly under it. Now, of course, this isn't legal. You'd have to, in order to do something like this, you would have to have a boatload of permits and permissions and whatnot, and very likely you would come from inland under the bridge and head out over the water, because if you crash, at least you're not possibly going to crash over land. And there would be recovery boats, of course, if you did crash, that you would crash in the water, and then somebody would come and rescue you, and hopefully the plane, depending on what it is, before it sank. So we're gonna try this, and then we're gonna land over there in Rouen after that. So, all right, and then we're gonna go have some fun in T-45C. And tomorrow we will be on Long Island Railroad in the M3. We'll get a service done in that, and then we will be doing our flight over the Amazon River, or the Amazon rainforest area. It won't be the whole river and everything. It's going to be just kind of a wide arc around the area where the river, it's basically where all the rivers kind of meet up there in the forest. So do join us for that. We'll be in the Stearman 75 again, and we may pick a different plane, because that Stearman may not handle, I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna have to kind of check it out today. So all right, let's see if we can do this. All right, kind of see the bridge now. Let's see. I'm going to have to get a little bit lower, I think. Let's have a looky here. We won't really get a clear definition of the bridge, I think, until we get a little bit closer. So let's have a look here. Alright, see one of the towers there. It might not be rendered in very well. Alright, I see more of it rendering in. Oh, there we go. Alright, so there's the suspension part right there. So we're going to try to scoot right under there. Let's see if we can do this. I think we're going to be just fine. I'm not going to look at the chat right now. Try to squeeze under the bridge here. Ooh, I think we just clipped it with the tail, but we made it. We didn't crash, so there we go. I felt a little bump. Alright, well, I never pass up on an opportunity to fly under a bridge. Hello, oh! Quite a handful, definitely worth learning though. Yes, it was that lady serving again with, oh, the extra chips. She doesn't go mad with the chips now. Bayo is where the museum is. Hello, Wibu. Well, you know, what I would do, Daniel, and I think you kind of know what I'm about to say, I would ask her to put them in a container and then take a picture and send it to Amela and then say, oh, thank you, Dale. And then say, oh, you know what, I changed my mind, I don't want the extra chips now. But at least to send the picture of the extra chips to Amela, that's the key. The key thing to do. So, thank you, Dale. Yeah, I should have practiced it, but when I saw it, I was like, I got to find out what that is. But then when I saw, I was like, oh, you know what? I think we gotta attempt it at least. But yeah, I think we just clipped with either the tail or yeah, I think the tail got it, but just the top of it. But that's okay. We didn't crash, so because it appears a lot of times that the area is clear. And then it's just not. There's either something that is in there that creates like this invisible barrier, and you just don't know it's there until you try to fly under the bridge, and then it's like, oh, yeah, you can't do it. So. All right, so we should. I might have to call into the airport for permission to land. We might be a little bit far out still. Turn towards the airport there. So as soon as we land, I don't know that it's necessarily turbulence. I think that the way that the what do they call it? The photogrammetry or whatever, like the way that it's designed in the sim, I think has a it creates like an invisible barrier of some kind, the way that it's rendered in the simulator. And so, like, I've had that where I've tried it in San Francisco, like under the San Francisco Bay Bridge. Yeah, it may be, but it just seems like there's like there's some kind of a wall, and it's just not very visible. you know, and you don't know it's there until you try to fly under the bridge. And then it's like you hit something, but you're like, I'm well clear. Like, you know, if you look at the distance between the bridge and the water, you're like, I should be able to fit this plane through there, no issue. You know, it's not like we're trying to fit a 747 under there, you know. So yeah, I don't know if that's like that's just a flaw of the rendering,
contact there is center on 119.825.
or what.
Good day.
119.825 Froggy 237. Paris Center Froggy 237 2,400 feet.
Froggy 237 Paris Center altimeter 29.902 continuous planned. Froggy 237 contact Rouen approach on 118.575.
Rouen. There we go. Rouen approach.
118.575 Froggy 237. Rouen approach Froggy 237 2,600 feet.
Froggy 237 Rouen approach altimeter 29.902 continuous planned.
Rouen. No, I think I learned how to pronounce it correctly. Well, at least we were able to kind of keep at a fairly decent altitude for the flight, so it was easier to see some of the area. So, so we should put it on the ground in Rouen here shortly. In fact, LFOP. Let's ask for. There it is.
Rouen Tower Froggy 237 is 17 miles west, 3,000 feet with Oscar to land.
Froggy 237 Rouen Tower. Altimeter 29.902 wind 269 tree. Enter left base runway 04.
Fly left base runway 04 Froggy 237.
All right, there we go. We got our pattern entry. We'll slow down and land here soon. And then we'll hop over into the T-45. Yeah, it's been fixed quite a bit, Dale. Now I'm on the Xbox now. The problem was initially if you try to do a cold startup, the door would not shut. It would stay open, so you couldn't do like a cold startup. Now it's like permanently closed, and the only thing you can open is the canopy. But it's fun. Now I really enjoy starting it up, you know, on the tarmac and taxiing out. So yeah, it's well worth it, I think. So yeah, I highly recommend getting it. It's a blast, and all it takes is just, you know, kind of getting to grips with it, because it's got a lot of torque in the engine. So that, you know, taking off and even landing can be a bit of a chore sometimes. So, yeah, but it's well worth it. I can highly recommend it. It's much better to fly now than it was initially, but I do like the fact that now I can start it up from cold and taxi out. So. I think it's even more improved on the PC now. Although the PC side, you could actually open and close that little door on the pilot's left side here. But now for the Xbox, I think they just made it where it's non-operational overall. So, but yeah, it's a blast to fly. It's just, you know, getting used to landing it and things like that. It can be a bit much, but it's definitely worth it. So yeah, I highly recommend picking it up if you get a chance to.
Foggy 2 tree, 7 wind 269 or a tree. Cleared to land runway 04.
Cleared to land runway 04 Froggy 237.
All right, there's our landing pattern. The left base. And I'm going to take a short break as soon as we land. And then we'll get set up in the T-45 and have some fun over in Las Vegas, Death Valley. So we'll do the startup for that one as well. And then we'll go have some fun, and then we'll call it a day. So yeah, as soon as we land, I'm just gonna take just a moment to looks like a train yard there. Yeah, wow. It's a huge train yard there, looks like. Right. Okay, well, that wasn't the greatest landing in the history of landings, but oh, now it does this. This is the part of the problem with the. It's got this crazy torque. Alright, well, at least we're on the ground. You just kind of have to let it run itself out. There we go. Not the most beautiful landing, but we made it. So, yeah, there we go. All right. Hello, Ian. All right. Hold on a second here. Let's get our.
Rouen ground, Frogy 237 taxi to parking.
Frogy 237 taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway Alpha Bravo.
Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway Alpha
Nice,
Bravo,
Dale.
Frogy
I've been to
237.
Nellis a couple times. I visited there a few years off and on. I worked at the MEPS, and we would go to Nellis for the softball tournament, the MEPS softball tournament. So I've been there quite a few times myself, although I was in the Army. Yeah, quite a nice base there in Las Vegas. I had a high school classmate that was stationed at Edwards as a weather person in the Air Force. Well, at least we didn't crash, so that's the main point. So we'll taxi over here to our parking spot, and then we'll end this flight, and then I'm going to step away for just a moment, and then we'll be back. We'll hop over in the T-45C and have some fun. Oh my goodness. Oh, thank you, Dale. Thank you for your service as well. Yeah, I think she joined, not necessarily right out of high school, but maybe sometime afterwards, maybe a couple years after. I don't know if she went to community college. I just remember she had talked about she'd joined and was a weather person stationed there. Which, I mean, that's a pretty out in the middle of nowhere place. At least Nellis, you got Vegas right there, but Edwards is really out in the middle of nowhere, it seems. So. Yeah, and I lived in the Bay Area for quite a long time, and I know there's the Air Force base up there by Vacaville. Travis. I used to go to Travis quite a bit when I was in the National Guard. You could use the base exchange there. So, yeah, it was good old Travis Air Force Base. Matter of fact, I flew out of there and back when I went to Panama for 2 weeks. And that's another flight that we're going to do eventually for a scenic flight. We're going to tour the Panama Canal. Kind of got the idea of watching some of the episodes of The Love Boat, and they some of the episodes they went through the Panama Canal from the Atlantic side to the Pacific and vice versa. So yeah, so I figured that'd be kind of a cool scenic flight to do. I just have to find a airport nearby that we can take off from, and then yeah, we flew in and out of there. We went to Panama for 2 weeks for I guess like a humanitarian mission, helping build drainage underneath some roads between 3 villages to assist with those villages, the ability for them to trade goods and services. And so we went down and basically built the caps of the drainage pipes. We had to build it all by hand and then pour the concrete and then bust down the wood and reuse it. All right, there we are. Do that, and we come in here, and then we're going to turn off the battery, and that should end this flight. There we go. All right. I will be back in just a moment, folks. We're just going to go back to the main menu here. I just need to take a short break. I'll be back in a couple minutes, if even that. Be right back. Okie dokie. I'm back. Sorry about that. Let's see. Let's go here. And should be right there. It is. Livery selection. That's what we want right there. And we're just going to zip around the world here. Now it's still dark out on the west coast. Should be right. Yep, right there. All right. Let's see here. I gotta find my. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put in Nellis Air Force Base. We'll put in for 3 left. Arrival, but we're gonna add some markers in along the way, just so that we kind of know where we're heading.